video, and this is my 22.5 KTM 450 Factory Edition. So fundamentally, this bike is my son's bike to ride. He's 165 pounds, A-speed, fast, hits stuff hard. He likes it, and we've got cone valve forks. I got 4.9 springs. I got the stock 4.5 spring in the back. But for me, he liked the stock shock on the back, but I thought I was getting a little more feedback that I wanted. So I had Brad Buckner at RideWorx Suspension install the bladder reservoir and also the low friction piston band on the main damper piston in the shock. Trying to get a little more suppleness and a little more compliance or comfort for me, but I don't want to mush it out for my son. He goes fast, but I do like to ride the trails and some GNCC style stuff, so I like my bikes to have a little bit more bandwidth. Also, I have the Akrapovic on this thing now, spark arrestor. It's really nice, but let's take it out for a quick spin here. This is actually my first ride on it, and one thing I noticed right away was just a little more suppleness in the, when you're just kind of hitting a little tiny chop and stuff, and definitely a little more comfort from the back, which is what I wanted. And also the second thing was just kind of under acceleration. It really just feels a little bit more planted. In a stock shock, I think I get a little bit more feedback than I wanted under Excel stuff. So this definitely was a nice change up. Now we'll take it to motocross track here this weekend, see how it feels there. Just the back is a little bit more planted and plush over the little chop at speed, especially when the power's on. See, I like to bring even my motorbikes into the woods. And I just open up the clickers a little bit, and they're fun to ride. It's getting tricky now with all the leaves down, because there's roots and rocks and sticks under the leaves, but boy, is it ever pretty being in the woods in the fall. And definitely this little tiny stuff at slower speeds, you can really, that bladder in the rear shock just helps give it a little more suppleness over these kind of the little stuff, so get a little more comfort. And it's fun just to see how agile, even in the woods, these big old 450s, still a fun bike to ride. This is a map one. I usually put traction control on to dial it back a little more, but it's so controllable. Yeah, that back just stays so planted compared to what it was with the stock bladder. And I think Brad, those few shim changes he made helped too. Yeah, you can just put the power down so easy. Definitely's got more hookup. And the Akrapovic, man, it's so quiet. but it still makes really, really good power. Even with the spark arrestor in. Okay, so I'm trying to get a setting that I dial in the clickers a little stiffer on the forks and then go back to pretty much stock setting on the shock for my son, and then I open them up a little bit for me. But man, the that little bladder, there's just a suppleness to it, like a friction free, that really helps, and you can feel it. So 2 big thumbs up on the first ride of that. I'm going to be trying that a little bit more. Maybe I have to do that with my 300XE too.